every time I see a swing in the playground, I always go and swing on it if I have time. And it's because it's one of the easiest ways for me to access like play and to feel like the carefreeness of not just being a kid, but like the joy of like something so simple as like swinging on a swing. This is in my friend's backyard, and it's so awesome that they just have a swing because it's been so fun to be on it. But living in New York City, there aren't many swings just accessible, and usually they're in like, kids' playgrounds. And so I definitely have like adults and kids like giving me weird looks, but I think in a world where we as adults grow into these responsible beings, right? We have all these responsibilities and things we have to take care of, and just ways we have to be. Like we lose things like this, right? We lose not even necessarily access because it's there, but we lose the connection to it and thinking that we have permission to engage it. And on a regular basis, I just think about ways that I can incorporate play into my day. Because it's such an easy way to access joy, even if it's just for those few minutes. Like even when I'm having a really shitty day, like I've been in Austin and it's incredible, like to be with one of my best friends, but it's also hard being here for different reasons that bring up grief and pain and nostalgia, and finding little ways to engage in joy, even if there have been days where it's been really difficult and emotionally like painful and sad. I can at least like try and balance out my mental space. Because this stuff in life gets really fucking heavy, like responsibilities get heavy. The sense of achievement and all the things that we feel like we need to be successful, it can be a lot. It can start to feel like it's like, what are you doing all of it for? And that's where having a clear sense of purpose and mission is so important. But on a day-to-day level, separate from like that big picture thing about purpose and mission, on a day-to-day level, like as adults, we need to be able to access play and joy. Like I even see going to the grocery store as play. It's like, how can I make it a game? Like, how can I get through it as fast as possible? Or can I go up and down every aisle in like, basically, can I, that game where you have to trace every line in a box or in a design without crisscrossing another? Sometimes I do that. One time I went grocery shopping with a friend of mine, and we were literally just like, we each had a basket or a cart, and we were just shooting our items like baskets into the cart. And people were just like, what are you doing? But some people were like, oh, this looks so fun. And there's something that gets so serious about being an adult that isn't actually necessary at all. We get to stay silly and playful and like childlike in a way that is not about immaturity, but rather around simplicity and laughter and fun and purity. Because if we're here just trying to strive for these lives and make money and achieve and acquire things, oftentimes things we don't need, then what's the point if we're not having fun along the way? What's the point if we don't add some kind of joy in the pursuit? If we can't, make a break in our day to like swing on swings for just a couple minutes. It doesn't have to be long. It can just be a few minutes. And that brings like a certain energy to my day. Even if I'm like on the way somewhere, I stop for 5 minutes on one of things and like get as high as I can and try to get my head above the bar. and you kind of feel like the forces kind of swinging you back and forth, it takes you out of your head and into your body, into sensation, into just like the pure feeling of like motion. And especially if you like speed, you get to kind of, you know, go faster. And if you like adrenaline, you get to go higher. And it just makes the day feel worth it, you know? Like you had this moment of like fun. And so every day, like how can we think about ways to incorporate more fun and joy and play like into our lives? Sometimes even walking the sidewalk, it could be like skipping the break in the sidewalk as like the way we used to do as kids, or thinking about some work problem as a puzzle. Like there's so many little ways we can cultivate our own sense of satisfaction, of wonder, of fun, of energy, just from all these little ways that we can tweak just our approach to the daily tasks. Like even washing dishes, you can kind of time yourself and like see how much faster you can do it. Or with chopping vegetables, I think about like how fine I can chop like the little things. And I get that this might sound really silly to some people, but it's a way that I have found, no matter how shitty the day, no matter how bad the news, no matter what like new atrocity I'm reading about in the world, and feel like kind of helpless or hopeless in taking all of that in, that I can still kind of tap out, not of life, but just of those feelings, and tap into something much more joyful, much more pure, something really fun. And it doesn't mean that I ignore all the serious stuff. It just means that every single day of our lives, every moment of our lives, we get to choose. I get to tap in when I'm like, okay, let me take in what's happening in the world. But I can also tap into this. And it makes all the difference for us to be able to fluidly navigate seriousness to silliness, joy to pain and back, right? That we can make sense of what is so hard and difficult and painful about life, yet still be able to evolve our day, right? And change it to something that feels more balanced and maybe even feels a little bit lighter. And so I ask you to consider how you can incorporate more fun and play into everything that you do, into your everyday. And if there are some things that can easily bring you to that place, like a swing is for me. But yeah, it's important for each of us to know that, so that when we're having those hard times, when we feel too trapped in our heads and our thoughts, when we feel kind of that like dark cloud of despair, or that life is not meaningful, that we know how to access something really simple that we know is meaningful to us.